Jim thought we weren't doing this live. He thought it was on tape.
Don't do live. Hello, friends. How's everybody? Let's do this. Max Adler.
Well, you know, it's easy to introduce people who need no introduction. One captured her first major championship of 2 in 1992, and coupled with her amazing legacy as an on-course analyst, I think is a lock for the next World Golf Hall of Fame class whenever they vote on that. The other, you all know, broadcast his first Masters in 1986, and since then, just about every possible game of significance in football, professional, collegiate, basketball, Olympics, tennis. When it comes to imbuing a sporting moment with depth and meaning, he is second to none. And together, you guys are the voice of golf. When you speak, the world hushes and listens. And Jim Nantz, Dottie Pepper, pros when it comes to saying the exact right thing at the exact right time under the pressure of live TV and the tyranny of ticking seconds. And, you know, when you have to stare at a blank page and have an abstract deadline months in advance, you guys knock it out of the park too. And that is, as the editor of Golf Digest, that's my little connection to both of you, is that you've written for us. And did anyone play in the outing on Monday at Saratoga National here? Incredible day, incredible weather. Got to see Dottie give a nice clinic with Billy Harmon. And in the gift bag, there was a past issue of Golf Digest cover story written by Dottie of Rory McIlroy's Grand Slam. Only person inside the ropes to witness that history being made. And then the other story was in there was by Jim, a course shaped by father and sons, about the Jones architects. And both stories, in a way, but their own way, are about the wisdom and perspective that comes through aging. And Jim, obviously, you've been writing for Golf Digest long before I became editor. The last few years, the rubric, what we call the little thing in the top left-hand corner, has been the view from Pebble Beach, a reference to your home in California. And I'd just like to say, with Dottie here, a hometown hero, living where she learned how to play the game, David Normoyle, preeminent historian, finishing up his book on Cypress Point in advance of the Walker Cup in a couple of weeks. We had a local boy, Seco Cup, win the New York State Junior Amateur here last week, 14.
Wow. That's awesome.
We've got the Anders Matson Golf Academy churning out top juniors and collegians, and plus whatever it is I add. The view from Saratoga is pretty good, too.
Yes, it is. There's no denying. Thank you for that introduction.
Of course.
Pleasure to be a part of your team at Golf Digest. I treasure that relationship. I treasure being here and having a chance to talk a little bit about this incredible Saratoga Senior Center and what Lois and the staff and so many amazing volunteers have done in this community. That's what America's about. And I'm just, and I don't have a microphone that's going to work full time. No, listen, thank you, Dottie. You are just such a shining star in my life. We just finished our golf season at CBS at Greensboro a couple of weeks ago. We said goodbye to our running mate, Ian Baker Finch, after a long partnership with him spanning 2 decades. But I just treasure the chance to work with you. And I have this habit when I'm at my home in Pebble Beach of jumping in my golf cart and taking my kids out to the halfway house off the 10th tee. It's called Neville's. And along the way, for whatever reason, I feel compelled to do it. Most of the time I'm being encouraged by the caddies to come over. I stop with random groups and start calling their golf shots on tape. And
Because what do you do when you're home? You call golf.
I call golf. Let's go back out here to the 8th now. Or Danny Williams is at 6 under par, trying to hold off Scotty Scheffler. Then a guy, shank it or top it or whatever. But you can't tell to the little viewfinder. And I say, oh, this looks really good. Dottie, where is that? So I reference Dottie in like every single one of my little clips. Oh, Dottie. Can we find that one? It's not Tony Romo, my football partner, not Trevor Immelman, who sits next to me at 18 with great distinction. It's always Dottie. It always gets back to Dottie. So I'm happy to be in your hometown. The view from Saratoga is very sweet. Thank you.
I think you have another introduction to make, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that would be a good time for this. Before we get too deep in the storytelling, I wanted to bring up the most important person of the week who's overseen so many details from Monday's outing through today, Lois Celeste, who I think has a special presentation.
We'll be back after this word from your local station.
I have a little surprise. Sorry.
Oh, whoa. What?
So, can't thank you enough, Dottie.
Lois.
Couldn't have done all this without you. Jim, you're amazing to have standing here in front of me. I can't even describe. And all.
Can't wait to
Max,
carry
thank
this
you.
onto the plane.
I have a plan.
I'll buy a seat for my new running mate. This is incredible. Thank you for that. Wow, Max, thank you. Lois, how great is this wonderful woman right here? Thank you. I will actually have this very prominently displayed. Very prominently displayed. I'm going to hang my bath towels from right here. Just a little tiny thing.
Tissue.
But no, that is gorgeous. That beats all. I've never seen anything quite like that before for my own purposes. Very cool. Man of the Year, what did I do to earn that?
We're talking aging, right?
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for coming as well. It's our 70th anniversary year, and part of the celebrations was to bring some celebrities so that we can raise some awareness of aging issues, and some of you that wouldn't normally come into the senior center or know what we do. It's really, really important that we combat isolation for seniors and the services we provide. We have the Alzheimer's Association sitting here as well, and we partner with them because it's a big deal. You got behind and championed that, and so when we wanted to do something here special this year, I mean, I thought golf and sports because I like that stuff, but I also thought Alzheimer's, and Dottie helped make this happen, and thank you for coming. And yeah, Man of the Year. Anybody who champions these issues deserves to be recognized.
Big part of my life. Thank you. Thank you, Lois. I will treasure it too, and I can't wait to show my kids that their dad is the Man of the Year. So this is special.
Remind them of that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, right.
I will. I sure will.
So you've already said hello, friends, but I think it would be a really great tee-off to this day to explain the genesis of where that came from and how it's become such an important part of your connection with everybody regardless of sport.
I had no idea when I first said it. We were at Hazeltine at the 2002 PGA Championship, and I was just trying to send a message to my father, who was declining by the day, suffering from Alzheimer's. And when I left his bedside to go to Minnesota, I was always playing these mind games to try to keep the wheels turning. Not that that was going to help, but I like to think maybe in some way I was activating some synapses or something. And I just said, Dad, when I come on the air this weekend, I'm going to look into that camera and I'm going to say, hello, friends. And when I say that, I want you to know I'm thinking of you at that very moment. So, you know, I walked out of the room. There's probably a better than 50% chance that before I even got to the car, he'd already forgotten. He'd already forgotten that. But maybe not. So I said it during the third round coverage, came on the air, Jim Nantz, along with, at that time was Lanny Watkins. My dad's name was Jim Nantz. I'm the third. Hello, friends. And on with the show. At the end of the day, I got a call from a colleague at CBS, and he said, I watched you on the opening say hello, friends. What was the story there? And I filled him in. There was a Carol Burnett, if you remember Carol Burnett with the ear tuck. That was my moment. He said, that sounded like you. You should do that. You should do that again tomorrow. And if it feels right, keep doing it. So I've done it every show since. My dad lost the battle in 2008. So it's 17. I still say it. And for that flicker of a second, when you look into that lens, like that camera, there is no feedback coming in return. You look into just a dark hole, not even able to grasp it. On the other side of it are millions of people. I don't want to think about it. I couldn't get the words out if that was the case. It could be at a Super Bowl, for example. We had the most watched television show in American history. 203 million people were on the other side of that lens. But I open up that show, hello, friends, Jim, and it calms me. It's not that different than being on the first tee for a tournament. You just want to get that first shot. You obsess over it, maybe I do, and you get anxious. You just want to kind of get running with it, get started. And that's my starter. I say it, and I do. It makes me think of him. So for a flash, every time you hear me say it, just know that I'm seeing my dad all these years later. My hero, my friend, my mentor. And in a world of a lot of cynicism and a lot of talk radio, there were years where I would get asked, maybe once a month, hey, we hear that line. What's the story with Hello Friends? It sounds a little cheesy to me. And then, of course, I'll set them straight, and they'll crawl under the table. I never had any intention of trying to draw attention to anything I do. I'm not in it for that. But I am in it to be able to remember my dad. So Hello Friends now, even though I've not done anything with it, we are trying to find an avenue to monetize it for charity. We'll get into this, I'm sure, a little bit later, but the fight for Alzheimer's is a huge part of my life. So we went out and trademarked Hello Friends just a couple years ago. Because every year come Augusta, online, all kinds of people were putting up T-shirts, Hello Friends, and some of it you didn't want to associate with it, let's just put it that way. And I know there's a market for it out there. So we hired a lawyer, trademark lawyer in New York. You had to find it first. Somebody owned it. And then he had to negotiate. So after months, I got the call from Arnie, is the lawyer's name. And he said, hey, I think we have a deal. He said, but it's going to cost you. I said, I'm willing to pay anything to buy it. I'm into the thousands into legal fees. And he says, it's going to cost you another $656. I said, $656,000? I said, okay, I'll do it. He goes, no, $656. Wait a minute. I paid you $25,000 so I could write a check for $656? Well, that's what I did. And I won't divulge who owned it, but I will tell you it was a famous television personality who used to have the #1 show on television a long time ago. And I wrote the check. I don't even know how they landed on 656. Why not just 650? Let's round it up to 700. But that must have been some negotiation. But I own it now. So the next time you say that in passing, just send the check to Nantz Enterprises. No. But anyway, that's the story. And I'm proud of it. And hopefully we'll see it in some capacity down the road where you'll say, Hello Friends. And that is doing yet another good deed in the battle against Alzheimer's, which is what I'm all about.
Well,
Thank you.
your passion and commitment for this is very much alive in Houston at the National Alzheimer's
Center.
Research Center.
Yeah, thank you.
Kind of fill people in a little bit about what's cutting edge, what's happening
There's
now.
a lot of good things happening. So the NNAC, acronym for Nantz National Alzheimer's Center, is in Houston. I wrote a book about my father, I forgot to mention that, called Always by My Side. And it was a love story, a son looking up to his father. And the backdrop was a series of events in 2007 over a 63-day span. It was the first time, I've done it now 7 times, where I called the Super Bowl, the Final Four, and the Masters over 9 consecutive weeks. And I made the book a little bit of a make-believe journey, with my father being with me, even though he wasn't. He was incapacitated and deep in the throes of the disease and not much longer to live. But I found my father through the goodness of others, through generous acts by people like Tony Dungy, the coach of the Colts who won the Super Bowl that fall during that window. Arnold Palmer, who had ways of making people feel special like my dad did. And anyway, there was not a negative word in the book. I was told by one publishing house as we advanced the book a couple of months ahead of its release, and they said, we can't make a big play on it because it's not negative enough. I said, okay. You know what? You're going to be wrong on this one. Barnes & Noble. And was it Barnes & Noble? Might have been. I don't want to kill them, but it was them. And I got my competitive juices going. And they told me there was another book coming out from another sports commentator, same release date as mine, in the spring of '08. He said, you should read his book. And I know this guy, he's a great guy. But it's edgy and this and that. On, whatever, the 3rd week, the book was actually #1 in America. #1. Not sports, overall. That other book, on the books, the bestseller list, that week was number 3,330. So you know what? Despite what people think, goodness does sell. People want to hear stories that inspire them. And that's what I try to do. When the book finished, it's run in a long run on the New York Times bestseller list. I knew I needed to do something more than just go back to sitting in the best seat in the house every week covering the great championships of American sport. I needed to roll up the sleeves even more. And I collaborated with Houston Methodist Hospital. They didn't have an Alzheimer's program at that point, and they're huge in the Texas Medical Center, right there with the DePakey Heart Institute and MD Anderson. I wanted to build our MD Anderson. So I took right off the bat, took 100% of every penny we made on the book and handed it off to them and told them this is going to be a dedication to the real Jim Nantz. And I want us to be cutting edge. I want us to be taking chances. I want to find a way to discover treatments and ultimately a cure. I'm not settling for anything less. My goal at that point, other than trying to be the best family man, father, and all of that, was to defeat the opponent that defeated my dad before I take my last breath. And I'm here to tell you, I saw another story today. We get updated weekly, if not several times a week. There is such a rush of positive energy and momentum in the fight against Alzheimer's. It's remarkable. The last 3 years has been a rocket ship. Things are happening. It was an endless journey to nowhere, the research. And I'm not saying it's all happening at the Nantz Center. This is a collaborative thing with UCSF out in California, Mass General, and other places around the world. And I know we're on that very short list of the most important research institutes in the world. And it's collaborative, thankfully, so we're not wasting money over here researching the same thing that they're researching on the other side of the country. But things are happening. There are therapeutics now in the last 2 years, lecanemab, donanemab. There's bioimaging. There's ways to erase the plaque in people's brains after a scan that if you feel you might be predisposed to one day be fighting the disease, you can go in and at least have a benchmark of where you are, what's going on in your head. And if there is plaque, they can actually wash it away with a therapeutic. It's just now ending a hugely successful trial that's going to get rushed through the FDA. So when we started and opened the Nantz Center, January 19th, 2011, I was told by our team, and we started to put a research team, and I'm like a GM. I'm out trying to find the next great scientist, bring him to Houston. And we're selling hope. I told him, we're going to sell hope, but we're going to sell real hope, not false hope. And now here we are 14 years later, and it's just great to see that the world is in a much better place. I don't know how many people in here have had a family member afflicted with it, or you might feel you might be predisposed genetically, whatever. Just go online, read. If you want to go to the Nantz Center, it's the nantzfriends.org is our website. But we're going to win. We're going to defeat this. It's coming soon.
So let's switch gears here. You talked about us just winding up our golf season. And we have a room full of, let's see, Patriots, Buffalo Bills fans, Jets, Giants. How do you flip that switch so quickly? Going from 20 events on the PGA Tour, 2 major championships, the density of our schedule, and all of a sudden, it's the NFL season.
You know, it's the fan, I think, inside of me. If I wasn't a broadcaster, I'd be watching these same events that I count my blessings for having the opportunity to be at these events. This is the childhood dream. People say that all the time. I've got testimonials from family and friends, family that will tell you when I was 11 years old, I would make these crazy declarations that someday I was going to work for CBS. Not NBC or ABC, not because I didn't respect them. CBS had this little event called the Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
Okay, you heard it. Now you can all leave.
That's another story and another trademark story, but I'm proud of that one too. I really had my eye on the eye. And I love the way that Pat Summerall broadcast the NFL. And I just daydreamed. I pretended. I wanted to be one of those voices. I didn't want to be on television. I didn't care about that 1 minute cut to the booth and you're on camera. I like it now because I can say hello friends on camera. But other than that, if they never put us on camera, I'd be really happy about that. I obsessed over it. Strong word, obsessed. Probably not good to be obsessive, but I did. I could not go to bed without thinking about one day how I wanted to wear the CBS blazer one day. Fast forward, I go to Houston. Masquerade as a member of the Houston golf team. Got invited to be on the golf team. If you saw my game today, you would really think I'm not telling you the truth. But I was, and I did let her. But I roomed with 3 future PGA Tour professionals, one of whom we're all still very tight, one of whom I got to present to the World Golf Hall of Fame, where you'll be joining him shortly.
And a green jacket.
Yeah, and Fred Couples. We roomed together starting, as young kids at the University of Houston. First day we showed up at school. Dave Williams was the coach. Max knows this. Houston had the winningest athletic program in the history of NCAA Division I sports. 16 national championships in 30 years. I did not contribute to the cause, by the way, but we won 16. First day, we're sitting in a room in a semicircle. There's 7 freshmen coming in, the next crop. They're coming off of winning a national title with David Ishii and Keith Fergus and Ed Fiore, who just passed away. He said, boys, you don't know each other. You're coming from different parts of the country. I have you all here for a reason. But all I want to know right now, so we get to know one another, stand up and tell us your name, where you're from, and what do you want to do with your life. That's it. Name, rank, serial number. Jimmy, you're first. Well, I stood up and said, I'm Jim Nantz. I gone to high school in New Jersey, Colts Neck, New Jersey. Yeah, hey.
He has a lot of hometowns. You can all clap at some point.
Monmouth
I'm sure.
County. And I said, one day I want to work for CBS because I want to broadcast. And I sat down. Glad it was over. The 4th guy stood up very bashfully, and I'm Fred Couples, and I'm from Seattle, Washington, and one day I want to win the Masters tournament. Coach said, okay, we both have a dream that's at the same place. Okay, you 2 guys are going to be rooming together. Next. As silly as it sounds, we used to practice the green jacket ceremony. We weren't going to parties. We weren't in a fraternity. Our team was a fraternity. We didn't even drink anything. Never saw a beer in my 4 years of college, much less anything down that road. Smoking, anything, nothing. We were good kids, goal-minded. This was not an every night occurrence, but on occasion, he'd sit across from me, and I would sell him on the fact, this is going to happen one day, so we might as well start practicing. It'll help me learn how to do this, and obviously you need some help on how to answer these questions. So he'd sit across from me, and we would play act like I'm the big shot guy from CBS, hosting the green jacket ceremony, and he's just won the tournament. We did that. Not once. We did this. Fast forward to April 12th, 1992. Fred won the Masters. I was sitting across from him to give him a green jacket and conduct the interview. So, what it tells you, I feel like my life has been like this. A little bit of a Zelig, this old Woody Allen movie where he just kind of dropped himself into all these incredible historical moments and scenes, or Forrest Gump, the same kind of thing. He just happened to land. I feel like that's my life. How did I end up being in that cabin? How did I end up on the victory platform giving away the Lombardi Trophy and calling the Super Bowl? I've been broadcast now 9 of them. All I know is that it goes back to like passion, obsession. I make a declaration, this is what I'm going to do, and gratefully, blessedly, a lot of it, most of it feels like it's come true. And I get back to the Alzheimer's thing. When I got all in on the fight for Alzheimer's, I mean, I meant it. That is going to be the greatest win of all. And that's just the way I've lived my life, trying to figure out what it is I want to do and do everything within my power to make it happen. But I am still in disbelief that that actually came true, that you had 2 kids, 2 scruffy kids in a dorm room who didn't have 2 quarters between them, would one day get to actually play that moment out before the world, and it did.
You've made fantasies come true, and I bring this up as another fantasy you've planted, which can't possibly come true. But Dottie brought up football. One of my favorite columns that you've ever written was your all PGA Tour football team. I think you had Gary Woodland at left tackle. Bubba Watson was the kicker. Tony Finau, wide receiver. But that was a few years ago. And I was wondering, these past few seasons, do you have any updates to your lineup?
Yeah, that's a good one. Where would we put Scotty Scheffler? I wrote the column before Scotty was a worldwide global sensation. I think, he looks to me like he could be a really good defensive end. Put some pads on him, let him rush the quarterback. Yeah, that's a good one. I know one thing, flipping that is how much I hear about golf through the PGA Tour. I mean, how much I hear about golf through the NFL. Let me put it that way. Take a guy like Josh Allen. I know Buffalo is 5.5 hours from here, okay? First off, one of the greatest human beings I've met in my, and there are a lot, but I mean, truly is on that very short list of people that I've just blown away by how they handle themselves in front of people and the acts of goodness that they do. Josh Allen is on that Arnold Palmer list. I would declare that list the Arnold Palmer list. He set the standard. Who's on it? Who realizes that they have been given a gift in their life and they're going to maximize it and make everybody in their universe feel like they're in on it, that they've got their fingerprints. Everybody in Josh's family, they're all in on it. His sister, his brother Jason, his mom and dad who come out from California at every game. The community, I mean, he makes everybody in Buffalo feel special. Never turns anyone away. And that's what, when I'm covering events, I'm not into numbers, even though sometimes you have to deal with it. 1st and 10, by the way, Josh just went over 300 yards with that completion to Khalil Shakir. Here's 2nd down and 6 and the handoff. I'm into the story of the people. I like to find out what's in their heart. Why does this moment, why does this game, what is it about them? Why should we root for them? I'm not a scoop guy. I'll leave the scoops to the guys in the studio. I'm not trying to dig any dirt. I don't want to know. I want to find the good side of people and cover a game. We're covering a game, but they're not issues and answers. We're covering a game. 20 seconds after one tackle, we're on to the next snap. So whether I'm on the tour, and as Dottie knows, we know all these players, like you do. We travel with them and their families. We know their wives and their kids, and we know their whole story. It's all cataloged in our heads. I don't even have to have a note in front of me. I let my heart speak when I'm calling golf. Now, football, they have big shot boards and all the like, but it's never ending for me, the pursuit of trying to tell the story of the people that you meet. I'm still trying to roster some of your, back to your original question. We got a Ryder Cup coming up here, a competition. I got to put Keegan somewhere on my football team. He's a big Patriots fan, so he would be playing for the Patriots. And Keegan's a pretty good-sized guy. He's going to be on the cover, by the way, of the next Golf Digest issue, which is just coming out this week. And I think I put Captain Keegan somewhere back. He's a selfless guy. So, and I think he's got a little bit of a toughness in him, too. I think he'd be a good safety. Now, the other captain, Luke Donald, he's not a big guy. So I'd either have to play him as like a 3rd down back or a punter. And I love Luke.
Speaking of that upcoming digest release today, tomorrow, there is a moment we weren't really believing that happened a year ago at St. Andrews. Jim's been a member of the RNA for 20-some years and had not played the old course. Had been back for multiple times, multiple events, but had never played. And it's turning into, you got to get this edition because Jim shares his story. What did it take for you to get it done on time? I guess is my first question.
We were early with this one.
Yes.
Easy. It was not as big a procrastination as others. Jaime Diaz, won't mention any names. But such an amazing story to think that you had never played the old, and when you did, and I read it, Dottie was there. And
Dottie was there. Her husband, David, was playing in the group. David's father was caddying for his son. Dottie was there cheering us on, never hit a shot.
I was a videographer of the day.
It was amazing. I'm so nervous on that first tee, standing on number 1, thinking of all the players that had come before me. And the round ended, and we walked into the clubhouse. And there's a members pub, let's call it. And there's a receptionist there, and they check to make sure you're a member, overseas member, whatever. And I went over and proudly said, Jim Nantz. I'm a member here. Oh, yes, Mr. Nantz. We've been waiting for you. There's not even artistic liberties here. It's in the issue, in the column. He opened up the drawer, rummaged around, in the back right of the drawer, he pulled out an envelope. Been wanting to give this to you for quite a while, and he handed it to me. We went back and sat down, ordered a pint, I opened it up. It was my RNA membership card from 2004. Oh, we've been expecting you. Yes, yes. But I had been there to broadcast. That used to be a bucket list thing for me, by the way, because I've done every sport that I feel reasonably qualified to call in the States. That doesn't include everything. I have not called a Major League Baseball game because I don't think I'd be qualified to do it. There's so many great announcers out there that call baseball. Joe Davis, Joe Buck used to do it. I couldn't do it. I just don't have the rhythm, the flow, the lex. Maybe I have the flow, so it's more like golf than you might think. But I just don't think I would be any good at it. But you said it, tennis to cross-country skiing and speed skating, whatever it might be, polo, I've done them all. So I would get asked, is there one thing you would like to do? And I said I would like to do the Open Championship, the British Open, as we call it over here. The Open, as it's called on the planet. That got back to the BBC, 09 maybe, and I got a call and was asked to be the foreign voice for the BBC. We didn't see it over here, but it plays all over through the UK and the rest of the world. And I got to call the Open a few times. So I went back and did some Opens there, and of course some of the other storied courses as well. And it was back for RNA meetings, but I didn't know there was an envelope waiting for me. I didn't know I was allowed to walk in there. So, I try to be respectful. But that was a great day. And I shot 84, 38 going out, 46 against the wind coming home.
You made your first birdie at 2.
After I knocked it 3 feet at 1, and I slow played you guys, waiting for somebody to say, pick it up, that's good.
Nope.
I mean, I looked at it like, it's the only time in my life I ever did aim point. I did this. I'm not a big aim point fan. I did it walking. Come on, somebody just say, pick it up.
Was still
Nobody
no.
did. And of course, I didn't even hit the hole with the putt, made par. But birdie 2. I'll get you guys a card so you can go through the rest of the round here.
I am going to share one hole. It was 17.
Yeah.
The infamous road hole. And Jim was short right and 2. Again, coming into the wind. Coming in was difficult. And if you've ever been to St. Andrews playing the old course, you know that the jigger in is just short and right of the 17th green. And the whispers had started from the time he got on the property that morning. And by the time we got around to 17, they were flowing out of the jigger to come see Jim Nantz.
It was frightening. Frightening.
The flag is cut back left, probably the most difficult position there is, and he hits this pitch shot that chases past the flag. I mean, it thought about going in, and it ends up about 8 feet just long. And that last
a little bit
dribble,
of grab on that at the end.
That's right. It did. It did. So, of course, now is he going to make the putt for par? Not only did he make the putt for par, he had his arm up like Nicklaus. And the roars went up.
Bill Jack Nicklaus brandishing the putter.
It was brilliant.
Head turned, total
Absolutely.
disdain for everybody else. Yeah, I made it. I played it now. I got to play it again a month ago, and I parred 17 again. So what's the big deal? I played it twice. I'm even par. I don't get it. Overrated. No, I think it's maybe the greatest hole in the world, actually. So
what I take from the two of you as we start to get toward close is you all, like so many people in this pavilion, you have a lot of balls in the air. You juggle a lot of things. Max, what's the key? You kids, job, on the move. How do you do it?
My attention is finite, so everyone just gets that much less. No, I don't know. I try to get up early. One thing that I've pioneered here in Saratoga is something my friends and I call guilt-free golf, where this very nice superintendent at the Saratoga Golf and Polo Club over here lets us tee off at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, boy.
It's like a concert with the mowers and the superintendent, and we're done at 6:50, back by 7, and I've got my golf out of the way.
9?
Just 9.
Yeah.
And then the day can progress from there. I don't have that itch to scratch, and so I can devote to the rest of work and family. So that's one little hack. Other than that, it's just a mess. We're just trying to make it through the end of every day.
I think everybody, that's amazing. I think everybody probably feels that way.
Yeah.
But there's a young lady over here, Melissa Miller. That's how I survive. She is I say it like a president. She's my chief of staff. Okay. And she lives in Virginia. I live in Tennessee most year, Pebble Beach in the summer. But in 1998, I was broadcasting and hosting the Olympic coverage from Nagano, Japan, and she was the runner on the show. And I have never seen anybody that could hustle like she could. She was in her last year at school at Texas. Ultimately, it led to me making a phone call after she was a runner. I said, I think I have a role for you if you're willing to take a chance. And man, I tell you what, seriously, if it wasn't for Melissa Miller, who's a mother of 2, has a beautiful family, I don't know, I really, truly don't know how I could exist. So I don't get to publicly say that often enough. But she goes not all the time where I go, but when it's an AFC championship or a big event, she's there, and she's here today because she believes in what you're doing here. The Saratoga Senior Center, I don't want to lose track of that. What Lois has done, what she has provided for your community. And I know there are a lot of people here who have given financially, given their time. I know about the volunteer system, how she has seeded this whole thing into the whole Saratoga area. It's beautiful. That is what, again, that is a life well lived. It is, I think, often overlooked what those later years are like. No, we're going to get to those golden years. What's that going to be like? Oh, finally I can relax. It's not going to be as chaotic as it used to be. And the reality is, it's not as golden or great as it should be in a lot of cases, right? It's tough. I'm saying this as I'm now 66 years old, and I'm still hoping to get another 10 or 12 years out of the career doing what I love. The little boy still lives inside of me, chasing that dream. There's not many places in this country. This reminds me of one in Augusta. I will say that, the Saratoga Senior Center. I've seen a model like this one other time. Think of this country. I go like all over to speak about Alzheimer's and try to raise awareness. But what you have here with a leader like Lois and people she's helped get on board, it is a gift you can't quantify. So thank you for what you do, all of you that support this thing with your time, checking up on people, checking up on your fellow citizens and residents, making sure that their lives are staying on track and they feel important. They don't feel the loneliness that far too many seniors in this country feel. It's wonderful to know that when I think of Saratoga now, a lot of people say, wow, think about the track, and I know incredible history here. I'm going to think about the community and what is happening at the Senior Center. That's what's going to mean to me moving forward.
It really is a city of 28,000 that plays really big, and it's special. It's interwoven on so many levels. Thank you both. This was spectacular.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie.
Thank you. Thank Lois.
I just want to amplify this because this thing is heavy, by the way. I just want to amplify this. This will be always serve as a wonderful memory for me of this day. And I'm just trying to figure out, do I put this guy in a middle seat or do I give him the window on the way home? I don't know, but he's going to be in my home, and I'm going to think of all of you in this special day. Dottie, I love you dearly. Thank you. Max, thanks.
Thank you.
for Lois, for the Senior Center. Let's go. This is your community. Come on up here. Come on up here. Yeah, keep the love, keep the support going, because this remarkable lady right here has done so much to make this a great place to live. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for coming.
Seriously. Thank you. Love you all. Thank you.